Stepping from our ordinary world into the fantastical, Immersive XP explores the weird and wonderful imaginations behind a diverse range of themed experiences. From virtual reality to escape rooms to live-action roleplay, nothing is off the table. We'll take a deep dive into what makes these adventures worth attending and which ones to avoid. Join me on a journey to explore the extraordinary and meet the people who make dreams a reality. Welcome back to another episode of Immersive XP. I'm Taylor Ford, your non-binary host. Seamstress by trade, silly little guy by trauma. Favorite animal? A cozy house cat. Fun fact of the week. The 1922 German silent film Nosferatu, A Symphony of Horror, was a clear knockoff of Bram Stoker's Dracula. Nosferatu was created to be more palatable to German audiences, but mostly altered names while keeping the story very similar. When Bram Stoker's heirs sued the film and won, all copies were to be destroyed. Luckily, some were found in other countries with the subtitles in other languages. While we don't 100% know what the original German subtitles are, at least we still have what is considered to be a horror masterpiece to admire and appreciate. This week's episode is a Gimmick quest, which is any immersive experience that uses a pre-existing intellectual property to get its guests in the door. I had the absolute delight of attending the Nosferatu immersive experience in Los Angeles, located at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery. Not only was this event extremely limited by a 3-night-only event on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, go figure, but also sold out in less than 1 hour. I was extremely lucky to see the email invite before that hour was up. The bad news is, no one else can attend this event now. The good news is that I can tell you all about it without spoiling anything. I highly recommend checking out our website to see the photos from this gorgeous event. To start, I want to talk about the event's location. Hollywood Forever is not only a cemetery and a crematorium, but also a cultural event center. The cemetery itself is beautiful with stunning structures, lawns, and man-made lakes. Just walking through on a foggy, cold evening in December already got me into the Nosferatu mood. Hollywood Forever hosts film nights where people lay out on the Fairbanks lawn while a movie is projected onto the side of a mausoleum. Concerts and performances are also done in the Masonic Lodge, which is where the Nosferatu experience was located. Next, I want to discuss how wildly vague the event's invite was. The experience was not only an official event in preparation for the film's release, but also a crossover with the makers of Delusion, which is an event I've discussed in a previous episode. The email stated, "Explore the carefully curated dark spaces filled with screen-used props, occult artifacts, relics, and costumes. Revel in the eerie soundscape and epic score from the film's composer, Robin Corlin. Encounter strange inhabitants, experience the world of the film before its release." That's all I knew driving into the cemetery on a Tuesday night at 8 p.m. The website luckily stated that parking was free, and photos and videos were welcome and in fact encouraged. Before selecting who I wanted as my plus one, I emailed to see what the accessibility was like since nothing was stated on the website, which I received the vague response of, "The event is not fully accessible. We apologize for the inconvenience." Not very helpful when choosing accessible events, which seems to be a reoccurring theme of Delusion. Now to give a mental journey of the experience itself. Walking up to the Masonic Lodge, a giant projection with the word Nosferatu glows against the dark night as a giant clawed hand slowly covers the name and bursts into shadow. The walkway leading to the entrance is lightly misted with fake snow as soft blue light dances across the cemetery. Entering into the Masonic Lodge's courtyard is the Gothic carriage featured in the film, with lanterns and low purple light to highlight each detail of the prop. Further into the courtyard goes a small bar, which features 2 themed cocktails, and a small gift shop, which sells exclusive clothing. Seats around fireplaces while fake snow trickles in, the perfect place to rest and take portraits. A man holding a dim lantern beckons you into the building and points you to the stairs leading up. Along the stairway, prop rats draped in red light are devoured by a disheveled man who then pleads with you to sign a contract. Entering into the main room, live music, film props, and a procession to sign the aforementioned contract is being watched by the looming shadow of Nosferatu. A man melts wax and seals each contract with an occult sigil while people sign their lives away with an ink pen. In a small room off the hallway, candles light a study with a large symbol painted in blood on the floor. A naked man turned away from you descends into madness as he rips pages from books and draws symbols into others. Another large room is lit in fiery light with a massive coffin on a stage. Rows leading to the back showcase the finely crafted costumes that grace the film's screen. Additional props and projections in every corner of the lodge. Things that I liked about this event. Decor and personalized set pieces for the experience were top-notch. The attention to detail with the lighting just added an additional level of dark beauty, which allowed for amazing photos and videos. Definitely the intention of the experience. With this event being limited on the number of guests in attendance and being able to come and go as you please between 7:30 and 11:30 p.m., the crowd was minimal, and it was possible to experience everything with no rush. I feel this is a better way to manage attendee flow rather than stressing a time slot when people need to arrive by. I also appreciated that all the cast and crew were wearing close to period-appropriate attire to add another level of immersion. While no dress code was stated, almost every attendee chose to lean into the Nosferatu aesthetic. The crowd was definitely cohesive. Having live music the whole evening is an above and beyond detail that I wish more experiences could afford. While the performers were not dressed in period attire like the rest of the cast, they sat in front of a fireplace where red fog flowed out, which helped distract from their attire. Considering both the music and the location, the ticket price being only $25 is phenomenal for Los Angeles. I'm always a fan of seeing the inner workings of a film, show, build, etc. It was fun touch to have the props and costumes from the film, which gives you a closer look as to how talented the people are behind the art department. The one bummer was that none of the people who worked on the pieces were credited. Description cards only described who and when certain costumes were worn. Getting to take home a contract in an unknowable language with a wax seal done on the spot was a fun idea, and I applaud whoever thought of that. Getting to sign it while an actor encourages you and welcomes you into the forever lifetimes you'll spend together is such a silly and ominous experience. This contract is definitely going in my Gothic Victorian themed bedroom. The themed cocktails and other beverages at the bar were fairly reasonably priced, and I love a spooky drink. The drinks were well made, and with limited guests in attendance, the staff had time to craft a beverage. I did not see a mocktail menu, but according to the website, those were available upon request. Things that I didn't like. Well, there were a lot of really neat and fun individual pieces, character actors, sets, etc. There was very little cohesion on a whole. It was very wishy-washy as to whether you were supposed to feel like a character in the film or if you were supposed to just enjoy looking at everything. I feel like a lot of that inconsistency had to do with the character actors. While a lot of them were wandering around or had a specific role to play, it felt like they were saying lines like an NPC in a video game. If I tried to roleplay with them or respond to something they said, it was either met with silence or they would just repeat their lines. It's difficult to feel like you're in the world of Nosferatu when you're not treated like you actually exist. I'm unsure if it was a casting choice or if the actors were not given direction to improv, but I left each character interaction feeling a little disappointed. I thought having exclusive merch available was fun, but it was also fairly expensive. $50 for a printed shirt was a little difficult to justify, but I did end up getting one because I loved the design so much. The only other available item to buy was a hoodie of the same design. The limited items and sizes for merch was a little disappointing overall. A few themed pieces of jewelry or accessories, exclusive or not, would have made it a little bit more worth it. Honestly, the event being so limited and selling out immediately was a huge bummer for most people. A weeknight is hard to get people to go with, especially around the holidays. After my friends saw pictures of me attending, most felt sad it was over. I'm sure a lot of people would have spent a lot more money if it was still running up to and after the movie's premiere. As for accessibility, while this location is stunning and the perfect place for the haunting vibes of Nosferatu, it was impossible to enjoy this experience if you can't use stairs. Not have information listed on the website, and for me to receive a vague response when I asked felt very uncaring. While I understand not all immersive experiences can be for everyone, 13th Floor and Delusions seem to have very little tact when creating events that are inaccessible. The least they can do is disclose information. No one should have to hunt for it. What I did find lovely about the event is that limiting the guest amount gave a lot of free movement. I never felt overcrowded or anxious in the spaces. I did have trouble in the room featuring the blazing coffin and costumes. It was so unusually loud with music that I had a hard time reading the costume information placards. Hard to appreciate the work that went into the props when it's too loud to think. In addition, while there was neat lighting and practical effects, nothing felt too overstimulating and there was no flashing lights. It seemed they cared more about having good lighting for photos above other options. As for the audience, it was pretty clear the experience was for 18 and older. Not only is Nosferatu rated R, but a signed waiver was required when purchasing tickets. Having 2 bars with themed cocktails definitely implied a 21-plus crowd in mind. There was also minor nudity and more intense themes that are best suited for adults. Overall, I really enjoyed this experience despite the lack of cohesion and shockingly short runtime. It seemed odd that they made custom sign and unique merch for only 3 evenings. I would really love to see more events like this with more accessible location and more days to attend. The low price, free parking, and limited guests were all wins for the experience. Some extra thought into both the upfront information on the website and some added immersion from the character actors would have really put this event over the top. This felt like a lesson in how an immersive experience can both be a beautiful success, but also have underlying failures to its audience. Until next time, if blessings in disguise exist, then there are plenty of curses right under your nose. Check out our website, immersivexps.com, to join our free Ko-fi, which will have visuals and additional content of the immersive experiences discussed in each episode. If you are an immersive experience artist or creator, no matter how small, consider contacting us so you can take part on a future podcast. This podcast is recorded and produced by SoCal Podcast Studio in Orange County. Thanks for listening. So we go inside and there's a bunch of prop rats in the corner and they're making squeaking sounds and everything. And this guy walks down the stairs and he's just starts chowing down on these fake rats. And we're like, cool. Okay. And we start slowly scooching by him. And then he turns around and he's just like, you gotta sign the contract. And we're like, okay. Will I want to eat rats if I sign this contract? Does not acknowledge my question at all. He's just like, please, you have to sign the contract. I'm like, but the rats, though. This is an important question. I need to know about the rats. And he just keeps repeating to sign the contract. I'm like, okay, geez, I swear, I promise I'll sign the darn contract. That's the whole thing. That's the story. Are we recording? Wonderful. That'd be bad otherwise.